The conversation we've all been waiting for, the Jared Goff conversation. I'll lead you into this. At the end of the day, I think it is very, very well known that Jared Goff got snubbed as well for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
he has the numbers. He's on a division-winning team. Matthew Stafford got in, and I know this is a Detroit guy. I grew up loving Stafford. He did not have the season Jared Goff had.
Not even close.
Ben Johnson today, they asked him about, like, hey, some guys, and they didn't even mention Jared Goff or quarterbacks. They just said, hey, there were some guys on their team that felt like they got snubbed, potentially got snubbed. How do you feel? And guess what he brought up right away? They didn't say player or nothing. He said some people around the NFL look at stats like interceptions and they don't realize kind of where some of those lead to. What are some of those the fourth down ones where you have to make a play, some good deep, and he was like, they look at those and then that's what they use. Jared Goff should be in the Pro Bowl over Matthew Stafford. It's crazy to say that as a Detroit Lions fan now, after all the trade and the Super Bowl and all that. But Jared Goff should be in over Matthew Stafford. End of story, done deal, facts. That's my kind of opening statement with this Jared Goff stuff. I know we're going to get into a little MVP conversation with it as well, but I just want you to know that's where I stand.
Yeah. And
I'm with you on that.
Let's start there because
idiotic that he's not in. That's
where I started going down a rabbit hole. Actually, starting with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and when all these pieces kind of fell into place, it painted Jared Goff even in a whole new life. And this stuff isn't to take jabs at any any trolls, any local fandom. People we've been pretty polarized here, and this is more at the NFL. This is more at the vote. Like I'm just confused what we're judging quarterbacks by. So let's start with the Pro Bowl conversation. Pete, there's a graphic that has Jared Goff versus the other NFC Pro Bowl contenders. This is just a comparison of their stats, which Jared Goff.
Did you send me that one?
Yep, it should be near the top in Slack.
Basically, sorry, brother.
It confirms, Dak Prescott deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. So does Brock Purdy. Those I'm not arguing at all. It's the Matthew Stafford. It's the Matthew Stafford debate. And then you could take it one step farther and go Jalen Hurts, who is the first alternate quarterback. But here, Brock Purdy, I get it. And I'm going to bring him up when we start talking, comparisons to the MVP. Dak Prescott, there's no denying that. But, man, look at this Matthew Stafford comparison. That's where I have trouble. How is Jared Goff not in there over Matthew Stafford? And Jared Goff, too, was I think he was number 8 in fan voting for the Pro Bowl. Matthew Stafford wasn't top 10. So this means that coaches and players and GMs voted for Stafford over Goff, but Goff has a higher completion percentage, 290 more passing yards and one more game, of course, but 290 more pass yards than Stafford, more pass yards per game, 4 more passing touchdowns, 2 more rushing touchdowns, only 1 more interception and a higher QB rating. He's also led this team. This is 11-5 team, first in the NFC North. They might end up the 2nd or 3rd seed versus a 9-6 team. As a starter, I think they're 9-7 overall, 2nd in the NFC West and 7th seed, and they're sitting him. So I just really don't get it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be completely honest with all of you guys. I have no answer for why he didn't make the Pro Bowl. He's even behind Jalen Hurts. I have no clue, if I'm being completely honest. When you break it down and it's right in front of you who had a better year. The only answer I could tell you and the only thing I could bring out of it, it's the same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown, is it's a popularity contest. Players and coaches vote on it. It's more players like Matthew Stafford, more coaches like Matthew Stafford than Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. More players and more coaches like Puka Nacua, and it's a cooler story to them than it is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And same with the A.J. Brown one. So and Mike Evans, that's all it is. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. That's why I say the All-Pro, when that comes out, I don't think Jared Goff will be an All-Pro, but I do believe that he should this is something to where he should have got his flowers for the year he had.
Yeah.
This is I talk about it all year. All-Pro is extremely hard to get. That is the best of the best. That is the MVP guys. That is the number 1, number 2 players at those positions. Where you should get some flowers for having those years. If you're top 5 in your position, it should be the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl's gone. It's out of hand now. It's not. There's nothing good about the Pro Bowl anymore. I'm kind of mad at myself, and I'm sure some of you guys are too, that I'm even giving it time, that we're even we're getting all worked up about the Pro Bowl. And because the reason it is too is because when these guys ask for contracts at the end of these guys' careers, when they're talking about the Hall of Fame and these things, that's something that like everyone looks at.
Yeah.
How many Pro Bowls did he make? And now it just means nothing. The Pro Bowl means absolutely nothing when you have a guy like Jared Goff who's put clearly every single statistical category better. Every single one almost, besides maybe one or two that actually matter, is better than Matthew Stafford and has 2 more wins than him, and his team won the division. It's a joke. The NFL, the players, the coaches, whoever voted on it, it's an absolute joke. It's a disgrace to the game and in the NFL. There's no point. There's 0 point in having a Pro Bowl or even caring about it. I'm mad. I'm worked up about it right now.
Yeah.
Phil in the chat said, "Who cares?" I'm with you, Phil. I'm kind of over it as I'm talking myself out of it.
And the who cares conversation, even more valuable to that conversation to a guy like St. Brown, who's a 4th round pick. The Pro Bowl bonus is worth way more to him than it is to a guy like Jared Goff. But that is a sort of.
And this is a quick thing. Brandon Katz in the chat. Appreciate you actually tuning in. You don't tune in a lot. He said Stafford's number 1 receiver of most of the year is a 5th round rookie, and Couples hurt all year. Doesn't matter. He still didn't put the stats up. When they pick awards and when they pick who goes on these Pro Bowl teams, they don't break down who you had, what coach you had, this, that. They don't care. They look at stats and they look at record. They looked at how you played. This is how you performed, Brandon Katz. This isn't just, oh, well, this guy's in this situation, this situation. No, this is strictly off performance. And Jared Goff outperformed Matthew Stafford this year very clearly and should be in over him. Very clear. Thank you for the zoom in, Pete. Great work.
That's facts.
By the way, he's 3rd in passing yards, 3rd in attempts, and 4th in touchdowns. What's wrong with that?
The offense, 3rd ranked offense in terms of yards, 3rd in passing yards, 5th in total points, and 4th in rushing yards. The Los Angeles Rams, 7th in offense in terms of total yards, 8th in passing, 8th in points, 10th in rushing. Matthew Stafford, he is a Pro Bowl running back. Jared Goff doesn't. He is a Pro Bowl wide receiver, not named Cooper Kupp. Jared Goff doesn't. Jared Goff isn't even a Pro Bowler. So I don't get apparently Matthew Stafford did. Anyways, this sort of carries over into the MVP conversation because
this is where you're gonna lose me.
No, that's fine. Matthew Stafford is ranked 8 right now per FanDuel, or really, actually, let me start so we don't confuse everybody. I do not think Jared Goff should win the MVP. He might not even be top 5, but there's a conversation to be had why we talk all season about we've taken stats out of it for Jared Goff. Have gone eye test. He's got everything around him. He's got the best offensive line. He has all these weapons. The Pro Bowl, these Pro Bowl nominations, they tell a completely different story. You look at a guy, Matthew Stafford, ranked 8th. His odds are 8th to win the MVP award. Jalen Hurts is not only the first alternate in the NFC, but he's ranked 10th for the MVP. How about this? Brock Purdy, who I agree. Brock Purdy should be the number 2 or number 3 in the MVP race. How about this? Most of Purdy's stats, most of his individual passing stats are higher than Goff, although not by a ton. They are 12-4 versus Goff's 11-5. And the team stats ranking are close. The 49ers are a better offense in all those. 49ers have the 2nd-ranked defense compared to the Lions' 23rd. They have 4 of 5 offensive linemen are either starters or alternates. They've got 8 Pro Bowlers total, 5 on defense. Christian McCaffrey, also in the top 5 of Pro Bowl of MVP voting, is on his team. We talk about all this with Jared Goff having the perfect situation around him. He has 2 offensive linemen who are starters, and Jonah Jackson's a 3rd alternate. Doesn't have a Pro Bowl wide receiver. He does have a Pro Bowl tight end, but he's a rookie. T.J. Hockenson likely would have been in that spot if he didn't get hurt. But we should be giving credit to Jared Goff as part of that Sam Laporta's evolution, his play. A lot of that hinges on your quarterback getting in the ball. That's once you start seeing what what weapons and what is around some of these top guys, and Brock Purdy is just an example because of his offensive line, because of all this. Goff has done way more with way less, and his stats compared to all these guys are right up there. They're right up there. Jalen Hurts, all 5 of his offensive linemen are going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
all 5.
I
3 are starters.
I see what you're saying. I'm just gonna lead it off with this though. I've been all year that Brock Purdy was an MVP candidate, that it was Christian McCaffrey, really. And I don't even think Jalen Hurts, I don't know where he's at with the odds or anything like that. I don't even think he should be close to top 5 as well. And Jared Goff, and I said this yesterday too, and this is basically all like, he shouldn't even be close to the top 5 as well, in my opinion, after what he did in Dallas. I think the MVP, and I know Brandon Katz said this about the Lamar Jackson with the MVP, that Lamar hasn't put up the numbers. That's where I think the difference from Pro Bowl and MVP is. The Pro Bowl is like you get your flowers for performing and getting the numbers and going out there and winning games and putting up a ton of numbers. MVP is, you say it all the time, brother, most valuable.